Hey, welcome to Bank of Trading Value. My question that I always start off with at every video, what are you willing to trade for freedom? And it's not just about trading. It is more than just about trading. You have worked your butt off for the money that you have right now. You traded your time for money, and then you're trading money for time. What are you willing to trade for freedom? Always keep that in mind. So today you see the title of the video. We're going to talk about Bitstamp. We're going to talk about what they actually see that the writing is on the wall. Let's start off right here. And actually, I'll zoom in just a bit to make sure that you guys see this zoomed in. Let's see. This is very good on the screen. I see what's on there. So it says right here, it says the all cash. Oh, the title of it is Robinhood to buy crypto exchange Bitstamp in effort to expand outside the U.S. I'm not going to read everything in the article because I want to be able to interpret this from an educational standpoint so that you guys are seeing where this direction is going and you see where the value is that I am providing you. Maybe a few of you will hire us. So the all cash deal is valued at $200 million and is expected to close in the first half of 2025. Okay, great. So summary is trading platform has agreed to buy the UK-based crypto exchange Bitstamp for $200 million in cash. UK-based Bitstamp was founded in 2011 and is one of the largest crypto exchanges in Europe. The acquisition is hoped to allow Robinhood to expand its crypto presence globally and attract institutional clientele. Very, very important right there. They're trying to attract big money. Remember, wasn't it just a week ago that they said they announced a for their maiden stock a $1 billion buyback plan. So they're already doing a $1 billion buyback plan for their maiden stock So they're already doing that. Just in the final quarter of 2023, they said they were targeting bigger investors. They're trying to bring people that are bringing billions of dollars into the platform. Because if you guys look, let me see, got to take this, and my mic is so good I can hear the paper. I took this on my note just so I can make sure I have it. So their market cap is at $19.49 billion. All right, in 2021, it was somewhere around 20 billion. And from what I looked at, their market cap got almost to 60. Now they're well away from that, but hey, they're on the uptrend right now. They're in a cup and handle if we wanted to look at it like that, but patterns matter. Now, they have almost $90 billion worth of assets under management. So 89 billion is what they currently have from the last data that I could look up, and that was up until mid 2023. That was released in March of 2024 as far as the data is concerned. So that's the best data that I have right now. So $89 billion in assets under management, AUM. Now, how many assets under management is on Bitstamp? Well, I'm glad that you asked. I have an answer for it. As far as the information that I found out, they have $11 billion under management. And that will actually bring, Robinhood up to an even, look at that, that's 11 plus 89, and even $100 billion under management. Obviously, inflation or deflation can affect that as far as the asset prices. But right now, if we just snap the finger, added it together, that's $100 billion under management. Now, what is the value of a Bitstamp? Well, this allows them to get into Europe. All right, this is a doorway for Robinhood to expand into Europe, and especially through cryptocurrencies. I have a feeling that Robinhood may use Bitstamp to also have some more of their traditional stocks allowed on that platform so that they can still have European clients be able to use those, not just crypto, but everybody sees the writing on the wall. This is where I'm saying seeing the writing on the wall. Before that, though, one last thing, compare that to TD Ameritrade, which has $1 trillion under management. So between the USA and Canada and everything like that. Charles Schwab, which is the biggest one of these, they have almost $9 trillion at $8.85 trillion under management. All right. Now, oh, and Bitstamp has 11%, so just over 10% of their clientele is in the US. So they already have a US presence already. But imagine that they combine both of these. They have Europe. The next thing that, in my opinion, I would see Robinhood doing is trying to expand into the Asian market. Now, they're probably going to be careful to stay away from China specifically. And the reason being is because the US is really going hard and heavy against China. And China is now retaliating. For years, China hasn't really retaliated like that, but they're starting to levy some sanctions. They're starting to pull their weight. So if I were a Robinhood, I don't know if I would want to go in that direction. So, but they see the writing on the wall. The writing on the wall is, look, they bought Bitstamp. They bought something, of course, that they can afford, but they bought Bitstamp. They see the value in cryptocurrencies going up as the euro, the US dollar, the yen, those things are inflating and inflating. People are looking for ways to park their money. At the end of the day, that's what people are doing. From the people that are out there just hustling, they're trading their lives for money, to those that are probably listening here as we help our seven-figure earners be able to figure out how to use the education to make even more money. So we have that, and a shameless plug here, $40,000 for 2 hours. I get on a call with you, an education call with you, coaching call with you, to be able to give you a value that is worth between $250,000 and about $500,000 worth of that value, so that if you walk away from that, you're able to make better decisions, able to train someone underneath you to make better decisions if they're managing your money. Not as a financial advisor, not me, but as the education that will do you even better, in my opinion. Of course, in my opinion, because this is not financial advice, it's for education. So if you're coming in with us, I suggest booking that, and you're going to see why. So the rest of this video and my previous videos will justify that. Now, see, on first blush, you would think, hey, obviously they're going into crypto. That's the thing that they've been doing, but they're waiting and waiting and waiting. If you're listening to this video right now, this is still relatively early in this crypto field. So you might say, well, I could just mindlessly go into Bitcoin or Ethereum. I know those, I'm familiar with them. I kind of know about some of these other ones, and I can go with them as they slowly incorporate them on the platform. When they start incorporating them on these platforms, yes, you can maybe 2x, 3x, 5x your money. Yeah, that may happen because of simple inflation and money being parked there. You might even 10x in some cases, depending on what it is. But you're now playing the role of kind of like a day trader. And do you really want to day trade your money? Do you really want to have to use all of that stress on your money? Or do you want to be able to see where the market trends are going? Ignore a lot of the news that is out there that's saying, oh, look at this, look at that, and be able to interpret that. That's what we do over here. Look at the news, distill it, and say, look, 99% of this is complete garbage. And matter of fact, we're not even paying attention to anything that's out there because we see the patterns. We see what's going here. This thing right here, this is a major move because Bitstamp has 85 cryptocurrencies on their exchange. That's more than what Robinhood offers on theirs. So this brings in a lot of their, and another thing is they don't have to apply for those regulations. You know that? They don't have to apply for those regulations. As long as they get that approved, Bitstamp is already approved in Europe. They already have regulated an regulated exchange. They're getting an instant footprint in the door. So let me show you something here. All right. Okay, hold on just a moment. Now on your screen right now, we're looking at $109 trillion global stock market in 2023. That's the biggest available data that I have as of Q2 2023. And since we're not yet going into the release data for the 2024, I'm going to go off of the best data that I have now. So this is as accurate as we can get. So right now it's at 42.5% is the US share of all of the stock exchanges. But again, I want you to pay attention to this. It's 109 trillion almost 110 trillion for the global stock market as of Q2 of 2023. Obviously, things have fluctuated up and down, but this is great. Canada 2.7, the European Union has 11.1%. All right, with Louis Vuitton and all of them, they control a large amount. That's the most valuable. And in China, the Shanghai Stock Exchange is the third largest exchange globally. China has been on the rise. Let's go over here and look where the numbers are tallying up. So the U.S. stock market has $46.2 trillion in valuation, 42.5%. Don't want to really overload people with numbers here, but we're just going to look at it like that. Almost 50 trillion for U.S., just over 10 for EU, and China right there behind the EU. I look at them surpassing them very quickly and very soon at just over 10 trillion. Then we got Japan and Hong Kong right around 5, upwards or downwards, and then everybody else. Okay, now if we were to put the cryptocurrency market into this chart right here, where would that go? Well, I'm glad you asked. And since that wouldn't be included in the stock markets, let's look here. Where's my key? Now, look at this. The cryptocurrency market is 2.55 trillion. All right. Now, if it gets at its all-time high, it will be over 3 trillion, but it's at 2.55 trillion. Now, from my perspective, I have viewed it at 5 and 10 trillion this time around, but we're going to see, because if it accumulates over, let's say, a 4 to 8 year cycle, instead of just going straight up right now, that means the next time it pumps, it will be huge from where I'm seeing it, because I am coming from the perspective that this is going to go up. Not guaranteed, of course, but from my perspective, and I have my own viewpoint in my own education system that I can teach other people where that is coming from. And so far, for the last 2 market cycles, I've been very, very accurate. So I like where I am going through. I've tweaked a lot of things, but let's look back at this. What does that really mean? Well, let's look at it from the stock market perspective. By 2030, the US is expected to go from 42.5% of the market share to 34.7. Where's that money going? Okay, not all of it is going to go into other stock markets. Now, I know that they have it here. They're putting percentages. They can't really predict the value of these as much, so they instead will use percentages. Then they got the euro area going from 12.5 down to 8.3. They got China going from 11.7 up to 14% by 2030. That's just around the corner. 5 and 6 years. Snap. It's going to come by anyway. They got India now have surpassed the UK, now have surpassed China from their predictions. They're putting India at 4.11%. Where was India on this chart the last time? They were not even there. Look at this. The smallest one that they have here is Singapore at 0.6 trillion. So 600 billion US dollars. That means the cryptocurrency market would be number 7 on this list of the top 10. If we were to put them in here, it'd be above Australia. Where's this money going? That's a huge amount. That's almost 10% being lost between the US. And then if you look at Europe, between the both of them, that's about a 13% difference. And then if you look by 2050, even bigger. The United States expected to be 26% and China only 15%. I'm not sure if I agree with that too much, but that could be accurate. And hey, it is what it is, right? I'm not sure if that's 100% accurate, where China will only be 15% over a 20-year period and they only go up by basically 1%. I don't know if that's all accurate, but because they're expecting India to actually take a lot of that in other developing nations. So where's the writing on the wall that I said? The writing on the wall is that, especially where China, they've been coming out and really speaking against this, where the United States, a lot of the economy is driven by the stock market, and that the stock market is basically driven by printed up currency that's basically being pushed into these companies. Now, that means China is not trying to drive their economy like that. They're trying to bring in investors internationally, bring in the value for their market, and then they're saying, hey, US, internationally, you're hurting us. You're hurting investors from wanting to come in, and we're getting tired of it. That's what they've been saying for the last 2 years now. They've been getting bolder and more direct and bolder and more direct over the last 2 years. And the United States has been getting even more and more hawkish and aggressive with them. So with this being said, China is going to suck up a lot of that value. So as these markets are going in and out, to and fro, let me bring up the chart of how this is going to happen yet again. All right, as you guys know, I like using the blackboard. So here we are right here. And we're just going to make this nice and simple. Here, and we're not even talking about that multiple quadrillion of currency and everything like that. We're talking about the stock market. That means there's going to be money coming from all over the place. So the green right here, this is the stock market. We're going to do SM at 110 trillion. All right, that's present time. We're going to say 2023. We're going to go over to 2024. Actually, let's go back. And we're going to go, not 2024, we're going to go 2030 right over here. And then we're going to have stock market here. And we're going to have some other number, question mark, but it's going to be in the trillions. All right. And that's going to be the stock market. Now, within there, we got different sections of, going China, USA, Japan, European Union, all of that stuff. Okay, great. Now, where does this come into play? As I always like to do, we're going to be in the middle. Now, as the value is getting exchanged from one side to the other because the future is happening, that's going. The future is happening and is going in that direction. And the future is happening. We're going to put USA as green going here. And the circle that's happening here is China in red. Here is China in red. European Union is blue. Here is China in red. Let's have Africa in purple. We're going to have them in a couple of spots and things like that. And then everybody else, we're just going to have them in black. Okay, cool. Now, that means that's going through us. If you're here, you're a 7-figure earner, this is going to be very, very, very important for you. This is one of those things where it's like, hey, I'm at 7 figures now. And this could be life changing where this takes me up to 9 figures, potentially 10 figures if I make my move right. Because there were almost, quote, overnight billionaires during the 2007-2008 financial crisis where they were not even near that before. And now I'm losing 2 of them offhand. I think Ray Dalio, one of them. So if you can get this move, that's where that money is. And for the other people that aren't yet there and they're trying to get themselves up there, we got a program for you. It's $30 per month. Look at the description and comment section below. Same thing for the people that are interested in that $40,000 coaching. Now, how do you capture this value? Well, that's pretty simple. We're going to be able to see that pattern that's happening already. That exchange from the United States here in green, from the European Union here, and that value there, that's going to go into the crypto market. Which one haven't I used? Here is the crypto market that we're seeing the orange inside of you right here. That's the crypto market, and some of that value would divert here. Some of that value is going to go into this crypto box here, and we're going to point it down there just to make it bigger and simpler. You're going to get the crypto value start to fill up with money from all over the place. And that 2 trillion that we have, 2.5, oh wow, those look like 2 S's. 2 point, it's not allowing me to do a point, so I did a circle. Let's say that the crypto market goes somewhere around 30 trillion. That's a 10x between then and there. But let's say that's a 10x, even if we were more modest and we just said, hey, I don't know where it's going, but let's look at it at 10. Okay? 10. Either if it's 10 or 30. You know what this does for us that are in the crypto market? You know what this does for you? What this is that, okay, if it's a 30, that means it's a 10x up. If it's 10, that means it's over like 3.5 times or so. 3.5 times in market value overall. And we know what that means. Some assets in there are going to just skyrocket. That's 100x. And you know, you guys heard the headlines of those things. Some things are going to go up. Boom. That's 30x. And they're not all necessarily going to go up at the same time. So instead of being a day trader where you got to watch. Hey, look, there's something that you're like, hey, it's going to fluctuate. I'm going to live my life as it is. Once it gets to a certain area, I'm going to have a notification on my phone. I'll look at what I need to look at. I'll pay attention to the news here and there. I'll casually do what I need to do. Press the button, take the profits that I want to take out, go to sleep so that if it does go there or if it doesn't go there, I'm fine either way, live my life still earning what I earn. And I have now just increased my 7 figures to 8 and 9. Right? I increased my 7 figures to 8 and 9. That's where you're thinking of. Because within this value right here, even the 10, there are going to be ringers and zingers. Ringers, actually. Zingers are bad, but ringers that are just going to go. And as long as you are in those ringers and you're able to see the patterns that we teach here, that's something that you're like, I didn't know it was that simple. Yes, it is that simple. I found that it is that simple. Not from a financial perspective or something, but we tend to make things in life complicated. You see all of these zigzags on here, and then it appears that it's a lot of noise. How about I do this? I start erasing things off of the screen. Let's just undo all of this. And I start erasing things. Let's simplify a lot of this. Looks like I can't undo all of that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to undo all of these. Let's make it simple. You're right here. This is you. This right here is the present. This right here is the future. How do you take future money, put it into the present, and make future profits now? That's what we're looking at. Time travel that money to make it sooner. And then where you take in enough profits, then you can let that time go by anyway so that you got even more money. See, time traveling money, if you didn't see this video before, let's say you were going to get to 9 figures or 8 figures anyway in the future. What if that took you until 2030 in that path or 2050 in that path? But because you ran into this video, you got the education, you got the knowledge, and you develop that into your own craft and skill set, and then you made the decision for yourself and your life. You got there by 2030, not 2050. You got there by 2027, not 2040, not 2060. See, that's time traveling money from the future right there. That's time traveling money from the future right here, because this is no longer 2023, but let's say that this is 2027. That's time traveling money from the future to that point. Do you get where I'm coming from? That's the simplicity of it. I had someone just yesterday that was a prospective client on one of these $40,000 coaching calls. And he said, you make it sound you're overly simplifying it. I said, no, it's just that simple. He actually stood back. He was astounded at that. Let's look at it from here. If you are someone trying to beat or trying to be Usain Bolt, he's running a 100-meter race. He's not running the 1,500 like the milers are. He's not running a 5,000 meter. So why would you make things complicated and run very long when your race is the shortest race for the outdoor track and field athletics? Why would you do all of that training? If you want to run fast You need to sprint the shortest distances. You simplify the things. Oh, I need to do this. That means explosive power, this thing, that thing. Bam. And all I got to do is repeat these action steps. Do maintenance, do some variation on my body, and it's easy. But what people do is, well, I need to do this and this and this and this and this. And then they overload themselves. They make the things complicated. They snatch complication out of the jaws and out of the habit patterns of simplicity. I made this very simple. Time travel the money from the future into the present. Time travel the money into the far future, into the very near future. Yeah. Would you really want to wait until 2050? If you're going to get there anyway, would you rather get it in 2050 or 2030? That's the question you got to ask yourself, which is why I always ask, make sure I'm recording. Yes, I am. Which is why I always ask, what are you willing to trade for your freedom? See, if it takes you just 15 to 30 to 60 minutes per day, because that's going to take you some learning in the beginning to get used to some things. And then later on, it's just, hey, you look at something, you glance, and then you're able to see what I see. You're able to see what other people have seen when they learn here. And they say, yeah, this headline's trash. Oh, this one means something. The news itself, these are things they're trying to convince and sell me. But instead, I see that headline and the messaging behind it, this means something right here. And I left this video on here for posterity. You guys can go and look at it. I think it's the first video that I did not delete or hide on the channel because I had something else. And of course, it was previously named something else. But the other ones I hid because they no longer match the direction here. But I have the first video on here where I was saying that the last market was the end of the bear market. That was only a few days before the Sam Bankman fraud FTX bombshell, the Black Swan event. And guess what? After that happened, I believe I have a video right after that. How come that really didn't do anything? Even during that time, I'm like, that's not doing too much. All it is just now it's bringing down Solana bigger. Now it no longer matches the pattern of Ethereum, which it was matching at first, but then it turns out it did match. I saw a chart with that, and I spoke on it on a previous video. I took it off because I'm no longer going to speak about those charts here. If somebody gets me in a one-on-one or something, we can talk about those. But just look at that video. I have the proof, the definitive proof, during that time, staying calm right there, where I said, hey, of course, not financial advice because I'm not a financial advisor. I think I do a step different. I dare say better, but maybe legally I can't say that, but a step different, which then results in something here. Instead of me having to do things for you, I give you the power to think. I give you the power to see the patterns that we see. And when you're able to use that and incorporate that in the education and you're able to distill that on your own, that gives you so much more power that if you do hire a financial advisor in the future, you know who's good, you know who's not good. You know that you can train somebody under the knowledge that you have, test them out, and say, oh, you know better than me. Oh, you can do this thing. Remember, Elon Musk, he said, hey, I'm not going to build the rockets, but I learned enough about rocket science so that I can hire the correct people that know more knowledge than me and that are actually very good at making the rockets that I need to be made. And look, there goes SpaceX. And look, there goes Tesla with the cars. He knows enough about engineering so that he could say, yeah, this person, I'm competent in that. So that's where we're looking at here. That even if you want to hire somebody in the future because you don't want to manage anything on your own, this knowledge that you get here is invaluable. But if you have any questions, or if you heard this for the first time, you like this information, you guys know what to do. I'll see you guys on the next one. And again, what are you willing to trade for your freedom? This has been Bank of Trading Value. And this is Nick. Peace.